This is not gonna work. Gamer. Motorusha. Okay. I think I could just hold it maybe. Welcome everybody to the internet's favorite show. I'm your host, communist comrade Salfon, and today we're going to be looking at memes. But first, I'm required by law, or I'll be sent to Gulag, to give you background on Daddy Marx, Karl Marx. If you are not in the honors class, you can skip to this time right here. But don't be naughty. If you in honors, you should watch this part of video. Also, if you just, want to understand the greater context of the memery that will be happening later, it might be helpful to listen to this part. I will be reading off of the supplied document. Karl Heinrich Marx was born on May 5th, 1818 in Western Germany. Son of a successful Jewish lawyer, he studied law in Berlin and was introduced to the ideas of Hegel and Feuerbach. Side note, Hegel is the positive consumator of bourgeoisie philosophy and philosophy in general. Feuerbach is the negative consummator of the bourgeoisie. In 1814, Karl received a doctorate in philosophy from the University of Jena. He married and moved to Paris, where he befriended Friedrich Engels. Remember that, that's an important name. And he became a radical communist. Oh! Marx got kicked out of France and spent 2 years in Brussels, where he and Engels co-wrote the Communist Manifesto, published in 1848. 1 year later, Marx moved to London, where he lived in poverty. He had 7 children, but only 3 survived childhood. But good guy Engels was able to support the Marx family. Marx eventually published the first volume of Das Kapital. The other volumes were published by Engels after Marx died in 1883. Marx is buried at Highgate Cemetery in London. So yeah, that's sort of a little bit of the background of Marxy boy himself. Give it up for Karl Marx, everybody. Thank you. I'm so honored to have been able to share his life story with you. Now we move on to his summary of contribution to modern thought. So, Marx is best known for the Communist Manifesto, in which he and Friedrich Engels display the class struggles that have defined history. These struggles that would be vanquished with the power of the proletariat. So, basically, he and Engels viewed history as a series of class struggles between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. I'm probably going to butcher these names the entire video. Bear with me. Marx understood history as a series of class struggles between the bourgeoisie and proletariat. And there was a middle class, but, the bourgeoisie kind of pooped on the feudal system and poop on middle classes, and they eventually become the proletariat. However, Marx also wrote Das Kapital, or Capital, in which he explained that commodities have an exchange value, where you can exchange one commodity for another. So, for example, imagine you have, oh, look at this, so good corn, oh, so yummy. And then you have, oh, look, it is a funny goat, oh, hello, funny goat. And so, we have one guy, hello, and he has the corn. Look at my beautiful corn. Then we have the other guy, hello, and he has funny goat. Look at funny goat. And so these two exchange their commodities, and these have an exchange value. So assume corn boy, hello, and funny goat boy, hello, exchange one funny goat for one piece of corn. And I lost my page. That would be considered the exchange value between the two. However, Marx asks how these can be measured in the same units with a universal value. Money. And he said that, if funny goat and corn can both be measured with money, then money must correspond to time spent working. This kind of makes sense. However, I believe this is known as the labor theory of value, which is not Marx's original idea. That goes to David Ricardo. Oh, Ricardo. Oh my gosh, it's Ricardo. Marx, however, focused on the nature of value. Modern economists do not accept this labor theory of value, but that's not what Marx intended. I literally just said he wants to use it as a way of looking at the production of commodities as a social process, not for measuring values, which is why the modern economists don't use it, because they think it's a pee-pee-poo-poo way of measuring values of things. But yes, Marx thought that the production of commodities was a social process. Corn, a funny goat. And they have to come together and make the exchange and barter and blah, 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 blah. But it was dependent on exploitation, which the bourgeoisie are all over. And this leads us back into the Communist Manifesto, in which Marx and Engels detail the class struggles between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. So, yeah, it's kind of a little loop there. Everything I just covered is just from chapter 1 of Capital. Who has time to read all of this? Like, really, I don't. Do you? No. Chapter 1's good. Let's move on. Marx also wrote a pamphlet called Wage, Labor, and Capital in 1847, which laid the foundation for the ideas in the Manifesto and beyond. So the order is, let's scoot off to the side here, Wage, Labor, and Capital in 1847. Wow, so cool. Communist Manifesto in 1848. Oh, super amazing. And then Capital in 1867. And this is sort of the order of things. Hopefully I did a cool edit there. Oh no. Okay, still going. We're good. So, his influence in modern society. He heavily influenced and is by some considered one of the fathers of modern sociology, the study of how people interact within groups, so group-to-group interaction, things like that. Bourgeoisie, proletariat. And he is considered one of the 19th century's masters of the school of suspicion, alongside Friedrich Nietzsche and Sigmund Freud. Fun fact, unlike most philosophers and thinkers of his time, his theories can be tested by the scientific method because they are based on concrete facts like economics and by looking at events in history. So, how is it used today? Well, so, Karl Marx as a sociologist. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Yeah, bonus points because my professor is a psychologist and sociology is like a sister thing. And what the heck am I doing? I really hope no one's looking at me from outside. Okay. As a sociologist, Karl Marx paved the way for conflict theories. We'll get back to those in a bit. But he sort of posed the question, how can we be free? We need to labor to free ourselves from nature, is what he sort of put forth. And but in doing so, and freeing ourselves from nature by engaging in labor, we impose social constraints upon ourselves. See the aforementioned funny goats corn thing, whichever side those were. Of course, Marx saw the historical development in terms of modes of production and economic classes. See Communist Manifesto and everything else he's ever written. The stages of history are defined by the development of the forces of production and relations of production. Forces of production are technical, scientific, and material parts of the economy, tools, etc. And the relations of production, how people organize themselves around labor, work for wages, trade, how they engage in all those things, etc. That's the relations of production. I feel like I said that already. We don't have clear-cut classes in capitalism, like there's no serf and peasant and king and noble and all that stuff. Don't live in King Arthur times anymore. However, Marx did see things in terms of the bourgeoisie and proletariat, as I'm sure we're all aware. The bourgeoisie are the people who sort of owned the means of production. They were the ones, the top dogs, the people who pee-pee-pooed on the rest. And then the proletariat is everyone else, the people who do not own a means of production. However, in both the Manifesto and I think one other work, I don't remember. In the Manifesto, Marx says that capitalism creates a crisis of overproduction, whereas in the past, other methods have created underproduction. The forces of production grow and are limited by the relations of production. So forces of production, the technical, scientific, and material parts that are advancing super fast, outgrow and are limited by the relations of production, how people organize themselves, etc., etc. The proletariat wants a revolution, it needs a revolution. Marx wants a revolution, if we're being honest. So, there is an Italian named Antonio Gramsci, an Italian boy who developed the hegemonic theory as the reason why the bourgeoisie stay in power, because by all accounts it doesn't make sense. Basically, pre-established social roles are hard to break out of. People fit the social roles that they were born in. I think that's what it was. Now we get on to the popularity of communism and of Karl Marx's theories and whatnot in today's society. We've already discussed that he is considered one of the fathers of modern sociology. However, modern day popularity, you know what that means. Or should I say, you know what that means. Meme review. Ivan the Vodka Man. Yes, I am capitalist. I live under a communist regime. Yes, we exist. KGB. Not for long, you don't. Ivan the Vodka Man gets 5 out of 10. Too much gulag. Communist leaders. Vladimir Lenin. Kim Jong-il. Clifford the Big Red Dog. What? I need to stop wheezing. This probably sounds awful. Oh, I'm gonna have to listen to this for hours and edit it tonight. No! It's actually kind of sad. It's such a cute little doggy. Here. I will wear Comrade hat again in honor of Comrade Doggo. I don't care if it looks ugly. If it doesn't work with the headset. There. For Comrade Doggo. This meme, 11 out of 10. For Comrade Doggo. Tommy the Commie! That's the face I make when I think it's fart. But it is so much more. Oh! Tommy the Commie gets explosive diarrhea out of 10. I don't know if that was making the final cut. Alright gamers, I think that wraps it up for a meme review. But, what is this? Bonus meme?